Remedies that work for a short time and remedies that work for good, even if you have to practice them. I guess a medical example of it would be if you go get therapy on your knee, you keep doing it, it's going to get gradually better. But if we replace your knee, theoretically that should do it. So there's a short-term remedy and a long-term remedy. Using this same kind of thing with doubt. If you get secular books on anxiety or depression, take anxiety, there are things to do that will refocus, change your channel, we've called it. And here's some examples. Go cut the lawn, go jog, walk, swim, turn on television. If you're a sports nut, pick up the sports section and study the box scores, study stats, because it takes a lot of concentration. You can do that. Go read a book. There are all kinds of things you could do. Talk to a friend. All kinds of things that change the...
Distractions, is that fair?
That could be distractions in a way. And I use an example, your lawn needs to be cut. Next week it's going to be cut again, but you're going to feel really good for the week in between. So there are short-term. Long-term examples would be, let's go to the heart of the problem. The heart of the problem is that you're saying things to yourself that make you really anxious or really depressed. For example, again, I'm not a counselor, not a psychologist, but the books, the self-help books, I'll tell you, the quickest way into depression is not forgiving and being angry. Not forgiving and being angry. Well, you know what you can do? You can forgive. Here's another one. How do you stop anger? If you're really upset with a teacher or a colleague or a boss, here's what you do. If you're a Christian, you go home at night and your counselor or a good friend of yours said, what has that person been through in their life that could cause some, oh, hey, I'm telling you, I gotta admit, the person was raised in a single parent home. When they were younger, X happened. In the middle age, in the teens, Y happened. They do have a lot of quote unquote excuses. There's some things going on. All right, if you're working on why you dislike that person, if you think about how you wouldn't want to be that person, because I'd have to deal with this, wow, oh, I really wanted to go through that. If you start feeling sorry in your mind for that person, you in your mind reach out to that person, and when you see them, if you say, and perhaps rightly so, they are manifesting the result of bad B's about their A's. They're saying things, I know they went through that, and I know it hurts, and I know they're having a bad day, like when husband or wife says, are you having a bad day? We know those kind of things. And those sorts of situations are keys, and if you think to yourself, oh, this guy's been through a lot, I've never thought about this before, now try to get angry at him. Now I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's a lot harder to get angry when you remember what they're going through and you're glad you don't have those situations.
Definitely.
So I think those are tricks you can use. So there's short-term ones, and then ones that last long-term. Now maybe long-term, short-term one is you don't get mad at him for the next 3 days, but maybe if it hits you just right and you realize this guy's got a lot, you might cure that problem and never get angry at him again. That could be a long-term one. So how about that combination? What starts out as a short-term could turn into a long-term. So, but I think we have short-term remedies. You go, well, what good does it do? There is a kind of mind bending to just cutting the lawn or going to jog. There is, but you get relief at that time, so it's a measurable change. But why don't you work on long-term things? The Apostle Paul said, exercise helps a little, but why don't you go for the long-term things? And what he encouraged was thinking about eternity, letting that affect the present. In fact, he says in several places, Romans 8, 2 Corinthians 4, he says, what we're going to experience will dwarf our present day problems.
And that's the top-down thinking
that's the top-down thinking that's for eternity. So short-term, long-term, proximate goals, and eternal goals. I think that those combinations can be worked out to get the best. And something that starts as a short-term can end up as a long-term.